fellow exorcists, and welcome to the lair of Filmaru. Tonight I will be reviewing Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the video game. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith delivers the ultimate Jedi action experience as Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi join forces in fierce battles and heroic lightsaber duels. Let's be honest, this game is your typical hack and slash movie game. Like, you're going through corridors, fighting these different enemies. Like, you got, for Separatists, B1 battle droids, B2 battle droids, jetpack droids that you fight in the elevators, and on Utapau, the Magna Guards. You've got these grapple B2 droids that are really annoying on both Utapau and the Invisible Hand. You also have the buzz droids that are like tiny little scarab creatures. And you have the crab droid, which you mostly fight on Utapau. These are pretty much the same types that you fight throughout the game. Like, the only difference is with the clones, their brutes are pretty much the brute class, similar to the B2 grapple droid, is the flame trooper, which is this hulking clone trooper with jetpacks and flamethrower. There's also your standard clone trooper. There's the clone assassins that you only get to see during the Obi-Wan fight in the Jedi Temple when he's trying to turn off the transmission. There's also the ATRT walkers, which are annoying to destroy because they're just... It takes a lot to destroy them, and they're very similar to the crab droid, who is a lot more fun to fight because you can grapple with it and jump onto it and just keep hitting it, where with the ATRT, you just have to keep hitting it and hope that it doesn't run you over. The Neimoidian guards. There's the big brute with the axe, there's the sniper, and then there's the really annoying shock prod troopers. The one enemy that you have to fight the most on Mustafar. Like, what the hell? What is with these games and these characters that can just keep shocking you over and over again and you can't get out of it, and it's just, they're mobbing you and you can't do anything. And it makes Mustafar one of the hardest levels that I've heard other people talk about, because it's a pain in the ass. Oh, and there was one other unit that I forgot to mention, which is the Droidica, which, I mean, essentially you can just toss it around, similar to the B2 and the B1 battle droids, and that's how you break its shield, and it's not really that powerful. You guys all know I'm a huge fan of Revenge of the Sith. I mean, while I was playing this, I was actually watching the Revenge of the Sith extended cut. It's done by Mecha Salesman, who did it for Episode 1, 2, 3, The Clone Wars, and any other series except for Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because he's still trying to find content for that he can add. But I'd have preferred to just watch the extended cut than to play this game. Like, this was one of the games that I played along with the original Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Starfighter game. Compared to those two, this game doesn't really hold up in my heart. Like, I find myself being a bit bored, waiting for the levels to end, getting tired of fighting the same types of enemies. I mean, there are some differences, like the small little missions in the games where you can use a turret to take out like a munificent class frigate. I really enjoyed having like something similar to ship combat, where you can fire on the other ship using a cannon. Like, we don't get that really anywhere in Star Wars in any of these games. You rarely see that, if you even do. Like, this was innovative, and I'm kind of sad that we haven't gotten anything similar. I mean, the closest we've gotten is like when you would play Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, where you could use the turrets on either ship to destroy other starfighters or just do damage to the enemy capital ship. But that's about it, and that's what makes this sad, but also it's one of the better parts of the missions. The boss fights, let me just say, I remember when I was like 5 years old how hard it was to beat Count Dooku and get through the stories. So like any other kid who is horrible at video games, I decided to find cheat codes, and they did help a lot. I actually was able to get through the game. I kind of did it again because I have an old PlayStation 2 in my room. I was able to get the game from Amazon. It's actually in really good condition. And I played it, and I used the cheat codes, and it makes this a whole lot easier to beat. Like, Count Dooku used to be a huge pain in the ass. When I first played the game, I could never get past him when I first played it. And now that I have cheat codes, which, yeah, I get it, there's a lot of you probably have problems with someone using cheat codes on a video game, but this is how a lot of us played the old PlayStation games, because this was the era of some of the hardest games in Star Wars history. You could play this within a night, maybe a day, not even, and it just, you kind of feel like they could have done more. And don't get me wrong, I do like this game. I do like the concept of an alternate ending to Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin kills Obi-Wan and kills Palpatine. I like that we actually got to see the fight between Anakin and Syndrolic, where in Revenge of the Sith, the movie, we only got like that one hologram of Anakin killing him that Obi-Wan witnessed after him and Yoda re-entered the Jedi Temple. I still find this to be a fun game, but also it's a bit weak for a 2000s game. Like, again, this came out when Empire at War and Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 came out. Two of some of the best games that anyone has ever mentioned, next to the KOTOR games and Rogue Squadron games. There is one thing that kind of bums me out about this, and that's the lack of imagination they put into how to kill the bosses. First, let's talk about the cutscene before we get into that. Like, with some of the cutscenes, after you beat the boss, it's just kind of stupid. Like, where in the movie, Count Dooku is beheaded by Anakin using both his and Count Dooku's lightsaber, and he in this, Anakin just stabs him. Most of the most major missions in these games are just someone being stabbed in the end. Like, you couldn't have come up with more creative ways to kill these bad guys? I get it. This was coming out right when the movie was coming out, so the developers weren't really keen on showing everyone what actually happens in the movie. Like, we don't get the storyline with Padme and Anakin finding out about the baby. We don't have the dialogue Anakin has with Palpatine over killing Dooku. And that's because Dooku gets stabbed. And that's it. There's no moral conversation. the Mace Windu fight, there's no cry of Anakin telling Mace Windu that he needs Palpatine for his power, and that's because Anakin just stabs him. Most of the fights are just, I guess you would call it witty banter, but I wouldn't call it witty enough because it's just back and forth bullshit between them. What I was talking about with, before I got into this, about how easy it is to kill some of these bad guys, I mean, if you are using cheat codes, all you have to, because you've got infinite health, all you gotta do is electrocute the boss as Anakin, or drain them as Obi-Wan, and pretty much that's it. Like, you can infinitely drain them. And yeah, so if you go all out with like just lightsaber combat and trying to push them and trying to knock their guard off, yeah, it takes a lot longer, but why would you do that if all you gotta do is electrocute them and then the match is over? Like, you can drain their health so easily. On top of that, I also gotta say, a lot of the voice acting was kind of annoying in this. Like, you couldn't go a couple of seconds without hearing Obi-Wan telling you what to do, like, "Oh, Anakin, use the Force on this barricade."
Don't have time to play around here, Anakin. Someone programmed you to talk too much. Anakin, I could use your help here. Use the Force to jump from here!
Do we really need to hear this? Every time you need to use Force jump or use the Force on an object? Like, we don't need to hear the same dialogue over and over again from these characters. It made me want to quit the Invisible Hand missions just so I wouldn't have to hear it. And that's another problem. Some of the puzzles get so repetitive. Honestly, actually, I wouldn't even call them puzzles. Like, half the time you're using your lightsaber to cut a hole through the door, or you're using your lightsaber to essentially cut a hole into a panel just so you can cut the panel, or you're cutting the doorway so you can kick the door in. And that's as far as they can go with puzzles. I mean, again, there is the canon battles that I mentioned previously, but yeah, the rest of it is either push this button to jump up to another platform, or take out these turrets and use your lightsaber throw ability to take out these couplings or electrodes on the wall. And it's kinda repetitive and annoying. All I can say is the boss fights were decent and some of them were interesting. The cutscenes, while I skipped them during this gameplay, I have seen most of them before. Kinda helps give a bit of context on what happened to Jocasta Nu, the Jedi librarian, what happened to Syndraulic and his Padawan, Sarah, what supposedly happened to New Gunray. Like, there's even a boss fight between Anakin and New Gunray where he's flying around in a Shifapede shuttle, and that's it. And you're just using Force Lightning on the shuttle, or you're throwing these barrels at it. But yeah, the boss fights were decent and I guess fun. The units that you're fighting throughout the game feel really repetitive, and they essentially feel like you're fighting the same thing, except for like the Nemoidian guards who use the shock prods, the jump troopers or jet troopers that latch onto you and break your neck or break your back and use flamethrowers. There is a multiplayer mode that sadly I didn't really get to play because I don't have another controller and I don't have someone to play this with, but from what I remember, it was kind of fun playing as Anakin with a red lightsaber versus Anakin with a blue lightsaber. I also did the bonus missions, and they're pretty fun. I mean, you get to fight as Darth Vader against Ben Kenobi on the Death Star and essentially play out your fantasy from Episode 4. You also get to fight as a Magna Guard and in a wave battle. Same with Yoda, you're essentially doing that. I believe there's a mission with Grievous where you do that. And then there's this platforming mission on Mustafar that you play as Anakin and you have to jump through the platforms, which was pretty cool. And I'm gonna say the bonus missions mode is a lot more fun than the actual story. Oh, there's also an upgrade system that I didn't really pay attention much to because essentially half the time it's just to upgrade your force powers or your health or your lightsaber moves, and again, since I did the cheat codes, I didn't really have to worry about that because I was already maxed out. I also can say that I have played the DS version of this when I was really young, and I remember hating it. Like, a lot of people praise it for being a really good side-scroller, but I just remembered as that game that I could not get past any of the Starfighter missions. Honestly, I am very sad to say that I'm giving this a 4.5 for being a really annoying game. I mean, I do love the bonus missions. I do love some of the boss fights. I do love some of the context that the cutscenes and some of the boss fights give to certain characters in the Legends lore. I love how they tried to do something different with the secret ending where you can fight as Anakin and take out Obi-Wan and survive and then kill Palpatine and become the true Sith Lord. Out of all of the missions in this that I really liked, the two I liked were fighting on the bridge of the Invisible Hand, fighting off all the Magna Guards, and the battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then Anakin versus Obi-Wan, because who doesn't want to play one of the most iconic fights from Star Wars? Let's be honest, this game really doesn't do Revenge of the Sith justice. Like, this is supposed to be the movie tie-in to one of my favorite movies ever. Like, it is my #1 movie on any list. I'm sad to say that this game has not aged well for me. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little notification bell for more of our content. And happy Star Wars month, and may the Force be with you always.